GBS.
A very good evening. This is GBS News 9 coming to you live from Kenya's capital, Nairobi. My name is Beatrice Njeri and we'll be taking you through the stories making headlines tonight. But first, here are the highlights. Jets out of the country after ending his 3-day state visit to Kenya with petroleum deal in the bag. A simple alcohol blow. Roadblock leads to DCI arresting fake commando in a full camouflage combat with heavy artillery in his vehicle.
We're working with the companies, to reduce the cost of these devices because they've been extremely expensive to the detriment of persons with disabilities.
Digital Storytime bags $10,000 in funding at the 5th Inclusive Africa Conference.
Playing this qualifier means a lot for us, especially for the girls.
Welcome Ethiopia. Junior Starlets intensifies training in preparation of a second leg of the World Cup qualifiers against Ethiopians. The Ugandan President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has today jetted out of the country after a 3-day state visit aimed to strengthen the relationship that was drifting apart between the two countries. Museveni, who was hosted by Kenya's President William Ruto, had both social, political and economic discussions which involved the signing of business agreements that has left the country after being escorted by Raila Odinga, Kenya's opposition leader, as Davis Karani reports.
The president of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has officially jetted out of the country after a 3-day state visit in Kenya, a visit that has breathed the signing in of petroleum and transportation agreement.
Those signing are Dr. Okasai Opolot, Minister of State for Energy, Uganda, Mr. Mohamed Liban, PS, Principal Secretary, Petroleum Kenya.
The head of state was escorted to the airport by the Right Honorable Raila Odinga in his exit. But looking at it in the third eye, what does this mean to... In 2017, Kenya fronted its candidate Amina Mohamed as a candidate in the African Union chairperson position, but Uganda was opposed to it, a move that many believe made Kenya lose the position to Musa Faki from Chad. The Uganda's President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is believed to have a lot of influence in the African continent, being one among the longest-serving heads of states in the continent.
This integration is to fight the battle of prosperity.
It is believed that his support to Raila, who has twisted his political strategy from vibrant and vigorous politics into a diplomacy way of politics, will be of a greater impact and can breed victory into Kenya's AUC position bid. Davis Karani, GBS News, Nairobi.
3 grenades, a firearm, rounds of ammunition, a sniper kill suit, camouflage, among other military gear, have been recovered in a sting operation implicating a suspect who impersonated a KDF captain to evade alcohol blow in the case that has so far set 3 suspects into police lookup. A call to Department of Defense officers confirmed that the suspect was not serving in the military, prompting his immediate arrest and arraignment at Milimani Law Courts yesterday for traffic-related offences. Here are the details.
Bill Atinda alias Don was arrested Wednesday 15th at the said roadblock after obstructing traffic police officers while on official duty by refusing to roll down his car windows for the test like all other motorists. The furious suspect had instead stepped out of the car and identified himself as a KDF captain, pointing at a KDF sticker displayed on the windscreen of his black Toyota Prado TX regional number KDL 100G. With the requisite certificate of appointment not convincing the officers why he should not be given the same treatment as all other motorists, the suspect sought the intervention of a serving military captain who distanced himself from the suspect when things heated up. A call to the Department of Defense confirmed that the suspect was not serving in the military, prompting his immediate arrest and arraignment at the Milimani Law Courts on Thursday for trafficking-related offenses. After a search in the first suspect vehicle, Omwanda was equally arrested following the recovery of $15 notes in 100 denomination, a police pocket phone, a siren fitted in the vehicle, expired Ugandan car insurance, 7 SIM card holders, 2 stamps from different companies, among others. Manuya Kevin, GBS News.
Junior secondary school intern teachers have vowed to continuously hold protests in different parts of the country until the Teacher Service Commission employs them under permanent and pensionable terms. The intern teachers are currently employed on contract annually. Here is more on the same. Junior secondary school intern teachers are steadfast in their resolve to stage ongoing protests in various regions of the country until the Teacher Service Commission grants them permanent and pensionable employment. Currently, the educators are engaged on an annual contract.
We deserve to be employed on permanent and pensionable basis. We cannot continue to work for the government with that little stipend. And the parents of this county and the country at large should listen to this, that there is no teacher who is in school. Your children are in school without teachers and the government does not want to hear you.
In response to the issue, the Teacher Service Commission has threatened to sack intern teachers who have failed to report to work since schools reopened for the second term. Appearing before the National Assembly Education Committee, Teacher Service Commission Legal Affairs Director Kevin Ayor said that the disciplinary action will be based on attendance records collected by school heads. He said the records will be received by the Teacher Service Commission head office on Friday, 17th of May.
When you try to explain, you have been told that they have been told by the TSC here at Samburu to forward the names of those who are absent in school. Now I'm asking, if internship is illegal, are we allowed to go to school?
No.
Then why should they follow us? Why should they threaten us?
The back and forth between the Teacher Service Commission and junior secondary school intern teachers followed a Labour Court ruling in April that deemed the internship program as illegal because of unequal pay for equal work. However, a stay order allowed the Teacher Service Commission to continue employing interns until the 1st of August.
The teachers ought to have been referred to as those on contract and then wait for a specific period of time for which they ought to have been automated as permanent and pensionable terms. This is where we missed it.
President William Ruto has called for reforms and international financing institutions, advocating for a more inclusive approach. The president emphasized the need to democratize the boards of multilateral development banks, ensuring all members have an equal say in the management of these institutions. President Ruto said the current financial system is unfair, knowing that it neglects the interests of developing countries. He argued that these reforms would enable undeserved countries to advocate for mutually beneficial outcomes, such as allocation of additional resources for concessional loans. This, he explained, will help pull many countries out of debt distress and give them the opportunity to pursue their development goals. He made the remarks during the presidential conversation session at the Africa Chief Executive Officer Forum 2024 in Kigali, Rwanda. President Ruto noted that there was a need to allocate resources tailored to address the challenges posed by climate change in order to advance global climate action objectives. President Ruto said during his state visit to the U.S., he will advocate for the African Growth and Opportunity Act.
One of the focus that I will be pushing in Washington is trade and investment between the U.S. and Africa. And one of the instruments that is in place is the Africa Growth and Opportunities Agreement. So AGOA is one big element that gives Africa quota-free, duty-free access to the huge American market. It is not about Kenya alone, it's about the continent. And it speaks to the subject I already said, value addition, agro-processing, manufacturing. How do we make sure that this market that is available to us as a continent, we don't send their raw materials? We create jobs locally, we create value locally, and export finished products. That way we get more value. So that is one aspect. But even as I speak to that, we also need to be organized. And this is a conversation also we intend to have internally as a continent. President Kagame did a wonderful job with the reform of the African Union. A job in the last summit of the AU he handed over to me. I intend to complete the job President Kagame started of reforming the African Union so that it is fit for purpose and it focuses on three critical things. Number one, it becomes a clearer, louder voice for our continent.
Many thanks for joining this live broadcast. We have a lot lined up for you in our news segment tonight. But first, let us take a quick break. We'll be right back with even more.
The 12 commandments of cancer prevention.
When you look at it realistically, it's something that starts from within you, from your own cells. So all of us, as we are seated here, some cancer cells are forming, but we have a secret service in the body which is more efficient if you have had enough sleep, or if you have exercised, or if you are having enough fruit and vegetables to mop up the radicals. That secret service is called the natural killer cells. They are always killing the cells so that they don't develop in full-blown cancer.
Basic and simple things that we all know, but apparently we don't practice.
We're having a big problem because this country soon have no human beings.
When you hear about cancer, sometimes you think it's the end of the world.
You are overthinking. You get? So you're secreting a lot of stress hormones. So why can't you relax? Or maybe just remove your shoes and walk bare feet.
And remember, the topic of the day is embracing one's role as a single man.
Ile ingine ni kutengwa na watu. Watu wengi ukiona single mother akiongea na bwanako nakuanga tu bwana kuingia.
Kuna any organization inaweza kuwa at least hata ile msupport ama ni wewe tumengangana kivyako akaingia hivyo.
Facial creams wenye wanatumianga but before unjuane na hao wamama haki na kuanga ngumu. Unapatanga huyo mtoto already amechange hiyo kara, njoo afai kukaa kwa njua.
Kuna hiyo organization inakuanga na plans za kuongelesha watoto
kama wazazi
in the future wanaji accept by the time wana realize they are not different. They are different.
I think akili yangu ilikuja kuona kabisa niko peke yangu. Ni penye saa unapigia handi au mambeste kuna mtu anakuchukulia simu. Na mimi nilikuanga na mambeste wengi. Mimi niliachiwa tu mmoja anaitwa Shkosheila. Akiona hii video, thank you so much mama.
Thank you Shiko.
Asante enjoy. Alisimama na mimi.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back. You're still watching GBS News 9. Magereza Hospital to the State Department of Correctional Services, the 150-bed facility, equipped with state-of-art medical services, is set to provide top-tier health care to security personnel and their families. Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki and Defense Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale presided over the handover ceremony at the prison's staff and training college in Ruiru, marking a significant milestone in the government's commitment to supporting the nation's security forces. Here is more on the same.
the Kenya Defence Forces officially handed over the Wanini Kireri Magereza Hospital to the State Department of Correctional Services. The ceremony, held at the Prison Staffs and Training College in Ruiru, was marked by the presence of Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki and Defense Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale. The newly constructed 150-bed capacity hospital is now ready to serve. The hospital is equipped with 2 major theaters, an accident and emergency unit, maternity and dental services, and a morgue. Defense Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale highlighted the ongoing support from the Kenya Defence Forces, stating that they will continue to provide personnel and training to ensure the hospital maintains its high standards.
The state-of-the-art facility stands as a testament to the unwavering commitment of the Kenya Kwanza government and KDF to the well-being and welfare of our citizens. The journey to this momentous occasion has been marked by dedication, perseverance, and collaboration between Kenya Defence Forces, National Police Service, the Ministry of Interior, and the Government of the Republic of Kenya.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki praised the Kenya Defence Forces' professionalism, citing their extensive experience in managing and operationalizing health facilities.
And the reason why this partnership was developed is because our brothers and sisters in the Kenya Defence Forces have a longer history with running medical facilities for security officials. Across the road, we have the Mbagathi, the Forces Hospital, Mbagathi Memorial Forces Hospital, and they have others across the country in other places. And so it was only natural when the police required a facility like this, we built into that partnership for
Both Kindiki and Duale emphasized the government's commitment to ensuring high-quality healthcare for security personnel, recognizing their sacrifices in protecting the nation.
The government continues to invest in facilitating our security personnel. First and foremost, our personnel who are serving this country in very difficult and dangerous situations. Those in the front line, in the fight against terror and other dangerous organized crimes, including banditry. We are sure going forward, now they have a facility in the event that they get hurt by the enemy. They have a place they can be evacuated for treatment.
The Wanini Kireri Magereza Hospital, built at a cost of 1 billion, stands as a premium facility for men and women in uniform, their families, and other stakeholders, including members of the public.
Following months of rigorous vetting and contesting, Digital Storytime has emerged the top innovation in Enables Digital Accessibility and Assistive Technology Innovations Award, bagging $10,000 in funding. In the 5th Inclusive Africa Conference, which concluded on Thursday, innovators had a chance to showcase and pitch to investors about their creative innovations around assistive technologies aiming to democratize accessibility. Here are the details.
In a bid to spotlight and celebrate technological advances that enhance the lives of persons with disabilities,
The 5th Inclusive Africa Conference recently concluded with much fanfare. This year's event featured the Digital Accessibility and Assistive Technology Innovations Awards, a competition dedicated to recognizing and rewarding inclusive tech solutions across the African continent. Digital Storytime impressed the judges with its innovative approach to creating inclusive educational content, hence bagging the $10,000 prize in funding. Their adaptive platform transformed traditional stories into interactive, accessible experiences for children with various disabilities. This includes converting text into audio for the visually impaired, integrating sign language for the hearing impaired, and adding interactive elements for children with cognitive disabilities. Among the top 5 finalists was Miriam, the founder of Skio, a solution which helps deaf detect danger such as fire. Inspired by a past event, she hopes to save more deaf persons in high-risk emergencies.
This app is connected with your wristwatch. You're able to know, like a vibration, you'll feel the vibration, or you'll see the light with the phone if it detects anything.
Though he did not make it the top 5 finalists, Sekandi Williams, hailing from the neighboring Uganda, hopes that his escort watch will help parents with children living with disability get notified when their children are in need or get out of specified environs.
Basically, this watch is going to aid the mothers who have children that are disabled. At the past, we had a challenge that the mothers with children who are disabled, they lock them inside houses. This is kind of weird because children try to change their mindset about this. So what we did, we designed this escort. The escort is a watch that is going to help you know where the child is in real time. Also, the child can communicate to you by just pressing a button.
In Kenya, the government has recognized the importance of assistive technologies in empowering persons with disabilities and is actively working to promote their uptake through various initiatives.
Ensuring inclusivity of persons with disabilities within the digital divide, and especially when it comes to assistive technology through universal design of products and procedures and processes. And that, of course, you can see very clearly by ensuring that we have policies that give waivers to such modifications as provided for in sections 15 and 16 of the Persons with Disabilities Act number 14 of 2003, so that then we are able to offset the resultant costs for those who are manufacturing or modification of public amenities to accommodate such needs.
Beyond education, assistive technologies are transforming workplaces, enabling PWDs to contribute effectively and efficiently. This fosters a more inclusive economy where everyone can participate and thrive. Despite the progress, there's still much to be done. Accessibility and affordability of these technologies remain significant challenges. Initiatives like the Digital Accessibility and Assistive Technology Innovations Awards are crucial in promoting and recognizing efforts to address these gaps. Hilary Kabila, GBS News.
In a heartwarming story emerging from the vibrant streets of Nairobi's largest informal settlements, that is Kibra, a deaf teenager has been making waves in the world of ballet. Despite facing the challenge of not being able to hear the music, the 17-year-old Gary Akinyi has not only joined but excelled in a community ballet program founded by Michael Wamaya through the project Elimu, offering after-school arts education and a nurturing environment for children in Kibra. Joteri, the only deaf student in the class, defied expectations by mastering ballet roots through keen observation and determination. And despite initial skepticism from her peers, her love for dance shone through, not only forging friendships but also become a teacher.
I joined Project Elimu in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. I was the only deaf girl, but Mike was so willing to help me. And I remember wondering how I would do it, because I'm deaf and I can't speak either. So I just had to copy what the hearing are doing. I think I'm inspired, and in the future I want to continue dancing. I'm in high school, and once I'm done, I would wish to continue with ballet. I copy the dance movement from others, but I can't hear or lip read. I just want to ask if ballet can have a rule where they count 1 to 4 and then they change the body movement and act.
Alijoin ballet, naona ako sawa.
Ever since she joined ballet, I've seen a great improvement. Even in terms of the way she dances, you'd assume she can hear, but she doesn't hear. It's by God's grace that she's come this far. She's a person that you wouldn't imagine could get to the same level of dancing and playing as those who can hear.
We don't discriminate in this place. Whichever capability you have, you're welcome in this place. And that's why we've realized even the special kids, you cannot even notice a certain kid is special in a certain way, especially when they are dancing, because they've learned to be together, to dance as a team. They've learned to respect each other, to love each other, to share whatever we have.
Do keep your comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. That report brings us to our international news, but first let us take a quick commercial break.
Today on the show, we are talking about nurturing their emotional intelligence in children.
The parents of this generation, they are very busy. Yeah. Whereby we have left the gadgets to be in charge, and the house managers.
Especially when you're thinking about yourself, there are 3 levels of thoughts. There is the first level, there is the second level of thought, and there is also the third level of thought.
What is nurturing a child in the emotional intelligence way?
A lot of focus has been put on the intelligence.
And when we talk about desire and self-control, desire is something that is in our hearts. But self-control does not come from within us.
And at what age are we supposed now to start molding our children and correcting whenever they're doing wrong?
So through the 4 gospel books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, John, we can know the heart of Jesus in depth.
그리고 우리가 느끼는 그 예수님을 성경을 통해 느낄 수 있어서 너무 감사합니다.
And the Jesus that we can feel him through the scriptures, and I'm very thankful about that. Jesus Christ came to this earth for our sins. He carried our sins.
십자가에 못 박혀 죽어 죄의 형벌을 당하셨고,
and he was crucified, and he received the punishment for sins.
무덤에 들어가셨다가,
and he was put into the tomb.
사흘 만에 부활하셨습니다.
and resurrected in 3 days.
이것이 우리가 말하는 복음입니다.
This is the gospel that we speak.
예수님께 우리 죄를 위해 죽으신 이야기.
About how Jesus died for our sins. The purpose of Jesus being crucified.
우리 죄를 담당하기 위하여 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으셨습니다.
He was crucified to pay for our sins.
예수 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으심으로 우리 죄가 분명히 씻어졌는데.
And through Jesus being crucified, clearly our sins have been washed clean.
참 안타깝게도 많은 사람은 여전히 죄인이라고 말합니다.
However, unfortunately, many people still say that they are sinners.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Now to matters international news. The long-standing practice of seasonal cattle migration in the Central African Republic is facing growing tensions as herders search for water and pasture along traditional trans-human corridors, increasing pressures such as climate change, thus heightening conflicts between herders and farmers. Historically, these migrations had been peaceful, but the competition for resources like water and farmland led to these clashes through incidents occurring where herds crossed the damaged and harvested fields or farmers planting crops on designated transhuman routes. In response to these tensions, the UN mission in Car alongside various partners convened a conference in the capital Bangui earlier this week aiming to find solutions to the insecurity and violence linked to seasonal cattle migration. The conference gathered representatives from all national and regional actors involved in transhuman activities.
We advised people to avoid farming in transhumans corridors. My herd devastated a plantation. The owner came to ask me for damages, and we were able to resolve the issue amicably. I paid the amount he asked me. If a herd ravages a plantation and the breeder flees, this is not acceptable.
Si un poule
If the animals damage a farmer's field, there's an amicable exchange between them, or even better as the leader. Between the two of them, they can get along.
South Africa alerted the International Court of Justice, ICJ, on Thursday that the conflict in Gaza had entered a new and horrific stage, thus development coming as South Africa now seeks emergency measures to halt Israel's military operation in Rafah, a southern city in the Gaza Strip. This marks the third time the ICJ has held hearings on the Gaza conflict since South Africa initiated legal proceedings last December, accusing Israel of committing genocide. Israel, meanwhile, denied these allegations, asserting that its military actions targeted Hamas militants and strived to minimize civilian casualties, and the city of Rafah, according to Israel, is a major Hamas stronghold.
South Africa had hoped, when we last appeared before this court, to halt this genocidal process, to preserve Palestine and its people. Instead, Israel's genocide has continued apace and has just reached a new and horrific stage. Israel has sought to hide its crimes through the weaponization of international humanitarian law. It pretends that the civilians it ruthlessly kills through its 2,000-pound bombs, through its targeted airstrikes, through its artificial intelligence systems, through its executions, are human shields. This whitewashing of Israel's genocide misses the key and fundamental element, that of the massive and still mounting evidence of Israel's genocidal intent.
This is the last step in the destruction of Gaza and its Palestinian people. It was Rafah that brought South Africa to the court, but it is...
On May 14, 2000, the Ruzizi River, which separated the Democratic Republic of Congo from Burundi and Rwanda, bore the bodies of hundreds of civilians massacred in Katogota by rebels from the Congolese Rally for Democracy, RCD. 24 years later, the residents of Katogota, a village in the Ruzizi Plain in eastern DRC, now continue to mourn and demand justice. In a recent memorial procession, villagers walked the Ruzizi River to honor the victims, though the massacre carried out by the RCD group, once allied with Rwanda and a presently registered political party in the DRC, which left deep scars on the community. Despite the ongoing efforts, the implementation of transitional justice mechanism remains low, leaving the victims' families in a prolonged state of uncertainty and pain. The community continues to press for justice, hoping that one day the echoes of their cries will be met with action.
We hope that the hearts of our deceased loved ones will be resurrected on the last day by Christ, who is alive with others who have died in faith. We thank you for every grace you have granted to your faithful here on earth. The victims continues to cry and plead every day for justice, because we have truly noticed deadly silence from the Congolese government and its partners. This is the meaning and importance of the monument erected by the people. It's always in memory of the victims and to remind the government that the silence is deafening. It's indeed a very serious crime, and I think that the Congolese justice system is not competent to handle this case. There needs to be transitional justice mechanism at the national level. This is what we have always requested. We believe that perhaps the perpetrators can be punished.
An 18-year-old Zambian teen has been helping spread the word about climate change using sign language. Bridget Chanda, a double amputee, interprets lessons at a school where special needs students attend classes with other regular pupils, attesting to learning sign language through self-initiative. The climate change activist and agripreneur Elizabeth Motale has also been at the center of this initiative to save the planet. The Southern African nations suffered from more frequent extreme weather, including current severe drought, prompting the Zambian government to include more climate change education in its school curriculum.
When I came, it was challenging for me, yes, quite alright, because by then I never knew sign language, so like it was very difficult for me to communicate with them. But as time goes on, I discovered like I just have to know sign language so that I can be helping them in one or two things. I deliver this session to my community members about climate change. Whenever they face challenges in terms of rainfall, I taught them on how to reserve water, yes, so that they can use at that particular moment. I faced some challenges in terms of signing for them, but I have a girl called Bridget who usually help me when I'm delivering sessions. She usually signs for them. Alright, so this is how it looks like.
We still have some teething problems as we develop on how to improve on how to deliver and cater for the special needs, especially in the hearing, in terms of how do we correctly deliver this information without diluting the context. And also, we've got areas where you might have people with special needs, but no one there to really interpret that information, especially at community level.
Do keep your comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. And now for sports lovers, it is time for your most anticipated part of the news, the sports news. Let's get sporty. The Kenya Women Under-17 national team junior starlets are deep in preparations for the second leg of their FIFA Under-17 Women World Cup qualifier against Ethiopia after a hard-fought 0-0 draw in the first leg at their Bebe Bekila Stadium in Addis Ababa. The team has stepped up their training regime this week ahead of the second leg slotted for Sunday, May 19th, 3 p.m. at Ulinzi Sports Complex. Coach Mildred Cheche, speaking on the importance of securing a World Cup sport, said Assistant Captain Velma Abuire, speaking on preparations, stated they have prepared hard for this week as they are ready to give their best on Sunday. And I quote, "We come all fans to come to support us, pushing our victory. The winner of this match will proceed to the fourth and final round and will face Burundi. The victor of that round will secure an automatic qualification to the 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women World Cup in October to be held in Dominican Republic."
Some lesson kutoka kwa opponents, their weakness. So when tumekuja hivi huku hivi home, tumetrainia about those their weaknesses. So ningependa kuambia mafans wetu wakuje kwa wingi, wakuje watupe support. Alafu game yetu itakuwa Ulinzi Complex, itaanza saa 9. Na wakikuja kitupeo support, I think so tunaenda ku give our best at least twende World Cup.
Hii wiki yote tumetrain hard. Tunataka kupeana effort kwa hiyo game ya Sunday. Mimi kwa mafans tumewakaribisha Ulinzi Complex, tuje mtupe support na tuwini hiyo game ya Sunday.
Playing this qualifier means a lot for us, especially for the girls, because it's a step closer to playing the World Cup. So all of us, we want to give our best as a team and try to get a positive result, because the overall goal is to qualify for the first ever World Cup, and we have a few steps to take to qualify for it. So yes, the girls are ready and they want to play for the World Cup.
Moving on, the multi-million shilling Siaya Stadium, whose construction kicked off 6 years ago, is set for completion within the next 3 months, Area Governor James Orengo has said. Speaking when he led a team of leaders in inspecting the ongoing works, Orengo said the 20,000 capacity stadium will be one of the best sports facilities in the region, capable of hosting international soccer and athletic events. Addressing the occasion, Orienda Member of Parliament and Otiende Amolo Amolo hailed the governor for reviving the construction of the sports facility that he noted has stalled for time due to various procurement issues. Otiende said that as the captain of the Bunge FC, he will ensure that the team, together with another from within the East Africa region, graces the official opening ceremony. Migori Senator Eddie Okech said the project was a manifest of success stories of what devolution can achieve with the full support from the government.
We are very proud of the kind of work which is being done in terms of the concept and the architecture of this stadium and what it's turning out to be. I think in terms of the track and the field, we are probably going to have one of the best in the region. The pavilion, I think my colleagues agree that it is huge, but we intend to use every space in it. Our hope is that by middle of August, the stadium will be ready for use. And specifically for the members of parliament who are here, the Senator Eddie Okech and Honorable Otiende Amolo, I wanted to interest them to persuade Bunge FC to come and play an inaugural match with as a curtain raiser for a match between Gor Mahia with another team we are trying to talk to come and participate in opening this stadium in August. And hopefully all the work is going to continue without interruption. I forgot to mention that on my left is His Excellency the Deputy Governor of Kisumu. He's a very dear friend, a very good friend of Siaya, just like a very good friend of Kisumu. And whenever we have something good to show, he has always been part of it. Whenever we have challenges, Governor Willie is always with us.
I think all of us know that this stadium had stalled for some time, I think on account of various procurement issues. I am glad and I want to thank Governor Orengo and his team to have come and quickly revive the construction. We have moved around and three things stand out which are quite impressive. First, the pavilion for this stadium is bigger than any other stadium I've seen outside of Kasarani Stadium. It's even bigger than the pavilion at Nyayo Stadium, and that's quite an achievement. And secondly, the works and the fittings are quite impressive. They are not the kind of loose temporary fittings that we see in a lot of stadia that are now being constructed. Because in stadia, given the populations they handle, if you don't put proper fittings, then they get damaged very quickly. So I am quite happy, and we've expressed that to the contractor, to maintain those standards. Thirdly, in the pavilion there's a lot of space, and clearly
Brighton Tyson Fury will fight Ukraine's Alexander Usyk on Saturday evening, 18th of May, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It is the first undisputed heavyweight title fight since 1999 and the first time all four major world titles, WBO, WBA, IBF and WBC, have been on the line in the four-belt era. The winner will be crowned the division's first undisputed champion in the four-belt era and arguably the greatest heavyweight of a generation. Here are the details.
Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk's undisputed heavyweight title was finally made after multiple delays and postponements. Tyson Fury refused to look Alexander Usyk in the eye as the two world champions came head-to-head before Saturday's undisputed heavyweight title fight. When the two came to the front of the stage for an obligatory face-off, Usyk stood sideways, but Fury instead opted to face the crowd front-on. Fury, a man born into a fighting traveler family, and named after former champion Mike Tyson, it could be his crowning moment as arguably Britain's greatest export to the sport. On size alone, Fury should be a clear favorite against former cruiserweight king Usyk. Britain's Fury, 35 years, height is 6 feet 9 inches compared to Usyk, 6 feet 3 inches. But Fury's defensive skills, elusive agility, and a remarkable power of recovery have kept him rising and his record running. He has 34 wins from 35 professional fights, with a 2018 draw against Deontay Wilder, but only narrowly beat boxing debutant Francis Ngannou in October. Ukrainian Usyk is an Olympic gold medalist and former undisputed cruiserweight champion. Is undefeated in 21 pro fights and holds the WBA, IBF and WBO belts. Usyk has won all 21 professional fights, having previously won the undisputed title at cruiserweight. The 37-year-old made a third defense of his unified belts as he won by dethroning Anthony Joshua in 2021. The winner of Saturday's super fight in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, will become the first boxer in history to hold all 4 major titles. Reporting for GBS TV, I am John Kinyanjui.
And that sports news brings us to the end of our news segment tonight. Here at GBS News at 9, we make your news our business. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Paul Mathenge. Good night.